Mark Twain once said that there are three kinds of falsehoods: simple lies, barefaced lies, and statistics. This concept applies well to the world of electric cars, often surrounded by all these varieties of untruths. The shift to clean energy sources is a massive capital movement, unprecedented in the history of mankind. And there are those who fight tooth and nail to resist this wave. Lately, the attacks against electric vehicles, EVs, seem to have escalated. It could be the steady increase in their sales that triggered such a reaction, contrasting with the overall slowdown in the automotive market. The reasons vary, but it is crucial to clarify some fallacies, misconceptions, and recurring myths about EVs. And most importantly, know how to counter them. Chapter 1: The Non-Existence of Climate Change. Imagine not being convinced by the almost unanimous scientific consensus on climate change. That is irrelevant. There is an even more pertinent reason to opt for an electric vehicle: the purity of the air we breathe. We cannot ignore that the exhaust gases from traditional cars contain a dangerous mixture of carcinogenic substances. Perhaps you don't worry about the inhabitants of the most polluted areas of your city. Take, for example, Ella Kissy Deborah, the 9-year-old girl from the South Circular, whose death had air pollution as a causal factor. But think about those who accompany you in the car. Whether it's your spouse, your children, or even yourself. The internal pollution of your car might convince you that electric vehicles represent a safer choice. Chapter 2: Electric vehicles are not as green as they claim. The myth that electric cars are not more environmentally friendly has been circulating for a long time. Studies funded by some companies tried to prove this, but were completely refuted. However, this does not stop the spread of these falsehoods. You may hear claims like, it takes 75,000 kilometers, about 7 years of average use, for the zero-emission benefit to outweigh the carbon emitted in the production of the vehicle and its components. These myths result from dishonest reports released by unscrupulous companies. The truth is that electric vehicles show to be cleaner after approximately 25,600 kilometers, even when using electricity from not-so-clean sources. The fossil fuel industries often raise this accusation, but they themselves have a history of mass exploitation and pollution. Unfortunately for them, the landscape is changing. The electric vehicle industry has embraced innovative mining techniques, reducing the reliance on cobalt in batteries and using materials that, despite the name, are not so rare. Whether we will have the capacity to extract these materials quickly enough to meet demand is a legitimate question. However, historically, ingenuity has never been lacking when profit is at stake. Chapter 3: The Batteries is Waste. Now, let's address the real reasons why batteries challenge their original state. First, the claim that batteries have no longevity and increase waste is unfounded. The reality that terrifies combustion engine manufacturers is that electric car batteries are proving to be extremely durable. Despite older models like the Nissan Leaf suffering from battery degradation, many electric cars, including those from Tesla, exceed 480,000 kilometers. Moreover, batteries have the potential for reuse in buildings before being nearly completely recycled, unlike fossil fuels that are burned immediately. Chapter 4: EVs Distance Limitation. Let's address another misconception: the supposed inability of electric cars to cover long distances. This fallacy is often presented like this: I need to travel from Greater London to Glasgow for work, and I can't afford to stop. If you find yourself in this scenario, know that there is a considerable range of electric cars capable of covering more than 320 kilometers, even under adverse conditions. Chapter 5: Infrastructure Challenges. After driving an average of 48,000 kilometers annually for 7 years in an electric vehicle, the charging infrastructure is a work in progress. It is not flawless. The development of charging stations must keep pace with EV sales. Failures exist, but utilization is still low, contradicting the alarmism of some media outlets. A fact often overlooked is that a significant portion of charging occurs at home, at businesses, or at destinations. When you adapt to an EV, you will realize that charges during trips are a fraction of the overall experience. The gaps in the charging network need to be filled, it's true, but investments are growing exponentially. Chapter 6: Electric Vehicles Without Private Parking. Finally, many people live contentedly with an electric car even without having a garage. If you haven't experienced an EV yet, you might think that you need to plug it in every night like a mobile phone. However, this does not correspond to reality. On average, electric car owners recharge their vehicles only once or twice a week. Charging an electric car is as easy as refueling a gasoline car. And although the charging process is not as fast, the widespread availability of slow and fast charging points will surprise many. It's just the beginning of a new automotive era. Chapter 7: Time Lost for Charging. Imagine receiving a fully charged vehicle every morning. It's like having a full tank car at your door every day. Moreover, it's ready to face the morning chill for you. While you're out, the wait is virtually non-existent. You can take advantage of charging the vehicle while doing daily tasks, for example, during grocery shopping. If your workplace offers charging, congratulations, you are among the luckiest. You might even get the company to cover the cost of consumed energy. So, who really waits? Basically, charging on a journey is what can take time, but even that is faster than imagined in many electric vehicles. It's possible to get back on the road in just 20 to 30 minutes, which, interestingly, is the time many spend stretching their legs at roadside stops. Chapter 8: Electric Grid Capacity. Some may doubt it, but the electric grid capacity is sufficient. Experts are confident about the adaptation to fully electric vehicles. The demand for electricity is decreasing for various reasons, providing a certain comfort in the supply. Efficient technologies, such as heat pumps, are already considered in future projections. Additionally, it is expected that by the year 2030, the majority of cars sold in the UK will be electric. Old cars will still be in use, allowing for a controlled increase in electrical demand. Norway already has over 85% of electric cars sold, without impacting the grid. Chapter 9: Battery Safety. Any energy source can be dangerous, that's a fact. Fires in conventional vehicles happen more frequently than in electric ones. However, fires in electric vehicles attract more media attention. The danger of batteries lies in the intensity of a fire in case of thermal leakage. Nevertheless, safer batteries are already being developed, such as the innovative Blade battery. Chapter 10: Cold Weather Efficacy. Electric vehicles perform surprisingly well in cold weather. A Tesla Model 3 owner endured a snowstorm for 14 hours, and another in Norway kept the heating on for 72 hours. Chapter 11: Weight of Electric Vehicles. The automotive industry is accustomed to heavy vehicles, especially SUVs. Yes, an electric vehicle, like a Hyundai Kona, may be heavier than the combustion model. However, this has encouraged greater efficiency in design and aerodynamics. Moreover, electric technology brings benefits such as regenerative braking and the practice of driving with a single pedal. Chapter 12: Towing Capacity. In the past, electric vehicles did not tow, but that has changed. Now, many models have this capability. Interestingly, there is a website called Electric Tow Cars dedicated to these models. Like in other technologies, electric vehicles are surpassing traditional ones and will have a disruptive impact on the automotive industry. Hybrids and hydrogen cars are not as competitive in the face of this new electric wave. Chapter 13: Cost of Electric Vehicles. Cars, in general, are expensive assets. However, electric vehicle prices are becoming more affordable. Technological development, especially in Asia, suggests that this trend of price reduction will continue. While some high-performance electric vehicles are still expensive, there are already more affordable models that are quickly gaining popularity. And now, are you sufficiently armed against any and all falsehoods about electric vehicles? Comment below which of these fallacies you hear most often.